were nominated the next ambassador to Beijing, were you able to talk to the president about his priorities? Because during the election campaign, one of the things he kept mentioning in the campaign, he wanted a train and all these things. Did he mention that in his wish list? Did he give you like a list of like a shopping list as ambassador? Like, do you have to bring home a train? How many bananas do we sell? Like how many tourists? Because the China ambassador, like 2-3 weeks ago, said he was looking at least doubling the tourist arrivals from 500,000 to 1 million. So, do you have like, did the president tell you the train and all this? Can you share with us what the president told you?
Okay, the president actually already provided the roadmap during his visit to China, and there were 13 MOUs and 13 agreements that were signed. These are all, they still have to go through feasibility study. These are letters of intent. But they included, exactly, there's an MOU amounting to about $2.5 billion, railway projects in Mindanao and Luzon. So that definitely is one top priority. I think I saw one diagram of what was to be built in Mindanao. There's already, actually the Department of Transportation, they've already, they have all the details already, because they already contacted their counterpart organization, and then the concessional loans are being prepared. The question is feasibility, due diligence, and bidding. We have to go through that. But the train would go around Mindanao, and he's not after a bullet train in Mindanao. He's not after even a fast train. A train that moves, that can transport cargo. And the emphasis actually is on cargo trains, because this is meant to solve the problem of the supply chain in Mindanao, the export products. Because one of the problems in Mindanao is really infrastructure, how to bring the agricultural products and exports onto the ports, and to make sure, especially in the case of bananas. I mean, there's a time constraint here. Otherwise, by the time it gets to the consumer, it will no longer be fresh. So that's one. Then, of course, the anti-drug campaign. There was an agreement signed between the General de la Cruz, Ronald Bato was there, and PDEA. They signed with the Narcotics Control Bureau of China. The Chinese committed $15 billion. It was in 100 million renminbi, which amounts to $15 million, is committed to the PNP to be able to build rehabilitation centers as well as their needs for the anti-drug campaign. Aside from that, of course, so the roadmap is there. And my role is to flesh out. It goes from agriculture, tourism. You mentioned tourism. The Chinese, I've been told, wanted visa-free travel. They have this with Japan. That they can land and get their visa. Of course, China is the source of the largest outbound tourism. So they can easily double, triple. The problem is, the Philippines, of course, wanted reciprocal, visa-free also. And I think that caused a bit of hesitation. If we also double and triple our Philippine tourists, there are actually more Philippine tourists going to China now than Chinese coming to the Philippines. Now that will easily be overcome this year, but that was because of the past experience. They lifted all the travel advisory. So aside from that, tourism, agriculture, infrastructure, and then NEDA and its counterpart would come out with to align the development plans on the different sides, on both sides, as they move on. Find areas. See, the key here is how to find areas that are mutually beneficial. The Chinese, of course, are interested because they have surplus capital, they have surplus capacity, that they're looking for markets. So that's where the situation is. Welcome to Jimmy Floor Cruz. He made it
Yes.
from Beijing.
Welcome to the very outstanding, famous Mr. Jimmy Floor Cruz.
Okay, so aside from that, infrastructure, agriculture, mining, there's a plan to set up to use the low-grade nickel ore, which we produce a lot of, and to process them in the Philippines and to use Chinese technology and come up with this is a certain type of stainless steel factory, which will be able which will be able to use for manufacturing, cookware, utensils, etc., which now we're importing. So the roadmap has been given, and the basic instruction is proceed as fast as we can on economic cooperation.
Thank you very much. We hope it will be as fast as the high-speed trains. Thank you very much. Next, since you mentioned tourism, which is one of the most exciting industries in the Philippines, especially with regards to the bilateral relationship, can we ask Mr. Stephen Techico? Mr. Techico, I researched that you were a pioneer in helping China tourists to come to the Philippines when it wasn't very easy yet, in the 1970s. Can you give suggestions to the Philippine business community or the Philippine government what we can do to really realize this dream of huge tourist arrivals from China? How can we compete with Thailand, which has 8 to 10 million China tourists a year, Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, with millions of tourists from China every year, high spending? What can we do to compete? Because we have the smallest number of tourist arrivals in the entire ASEAN region. Even Vietnam and Japan, they get millions of China tourists every year. And by the way, before Mr. Techico will speak, he requested earlier that he would like to talk in his first language, which is Mandarin and Hokkien, and the interpreter, the talented TV host of Chinatown TV show, Miss Luella Ching, has volunteered to be an interpreter. Can you share your insights on Philippine tourism and what we can do to make it very successful? 我们可以怎么样帮忙菲律宾的旅游业更好？
非常对不起啊，今天我在见你，就是我因为来了很多的我们中国的朋友，我用普通话跟大家讲，让我的助手他用英语翻译给大家。
First of all, Mr. Stephen Techico would like to apologize because he speaks more comfortably in Mandarin, hence he would like to speak in his mother language and have me interpret to English.
我们大家都知道，中国跟菲律宾建交是在1975年。
So we all know that the diplomatic relationships between the Philippines and China started in 1975.
那我也简单跟大家介绍，我的旅行社是成立在1976年。
So he would like to briefly introduce his travel agency, which is UNIORIENT, started in 1976.
但是在那个时候呢，就是我们的菲律宾的华侨，包括华人，都能够到中国去旅游。
So around this time, the overseas Chinese were able to go to China for tourism.
但是中国的只能够拿公务护照的人才能够到菲律宾来。
However, the tourists from China cannot come. Only the ones holding diplomatic passports from China can come to the Philippines.
所以到了1980年的时候，通过我们的努力，当初还是马可斯总统在任的时候。
So during 1980, which is 4 years after UNIORIENT was established, this was during the time of President Marcos.
所以当年我们就通过我们向总统府马可斯夫人的马可斯的要求，才让中国的公民能够拿中国护照到菲律宾来旅游探亲。
So it was during this time that they were able to open the doors for Chinese the Chinese ordinary passport holders to be able to come to the Philippines to visit their relatives.
所以说到了现在，中国跟菲律宾呢两个国家都已经是好朋友了，所以都算是常来常往，有很多的旅游的客。
So now the very good relationship between Chinese and the Philippines is thanks to this long history of interaction between the two countries.
但是因为前几年的香港那个游客的事件，所以这几年中国来的游客比较少。
But unfortunately, due to a few years ago, there was an accident or an unfortunate event with the Hong Kong tourists that we're all aware of. Hence, that has impacted detrimentally to the tourism, to the Chinese tourists coming.
所以刚才我们这个大使呢有提到说，如果是给那个中国人免签的时候，因为通常这个国家都是要对等。
So a while ago, Ambassador has mentioned that Chinese, the visa relationship should be mutual. That if we're granting them visa-free, hopefully they can also grant us visa-free access.
所以我想请求我们这个大使，目前先不要考虑说那个对等的问题，我们先把我们的那个落地签证和这些免签，先让中国公民到这边来。
So he would like to sincerely request the ambassador if he can consider if we first set aside this equality mindset, first let Chinese tourists come here visa-free.
因为我是搞旅游的业的，现在我们菲律宾的经济，从30年前可以说我们比中国进步。
Because since he is in the tourism industry, he knows he has a lot of experience on this area, and he can say that there's been a lot of improvement in the tourist industry because of Chinese tourists.
现在中国的经济已经是全世界的排在第2。
And now the China economy is now ranking 2nd in the entire world.
因为其实我们再不用担心说中国的公民到了菲律宾来了，他们不想回去。
So we don't have to worry anymore that Chinese will come here and not want to go back or stay illegally.
但是因为我们菲律宾目前的这个经济，我们要赶快能够赶上其他的地区。
And the Philippines economy really has to be competitive and catch up with the rest of the region in this, with the rest of the countries in this region.
因为旅游业是一个最快的方法。
And tourism industry is a very fast help. It's a very immediate way.
就是好像我刚才所说的，中国现在有大概1亿的那个游客到了全世界各地区。
So right now, China has about 100 million tourists coming here.
现在中国到菲律宾来的，我相信，从今年还达不到那个100万。
But he believes that the Chinese tourists coming here this year still won't reach 1 million.
所以我建议还是我们这个大使，因为他去努力，能够让我们的中国的游客，只要说，在明年能够增加100万就可以了。
So he believes that through the efforts of the ambassador, next year, hopefully, the Chinese tourists coming here will surpass the 1 million target.
因为我为什么说只需要100万？因为如果太多的时候，我们可能会容纳不下，因为我们还需要建好多的酒店。
So why set this target of 1 million? Because Mr. Tichico believes that if we surpass this 1 million, we also won't have the capacity in terms of hotels and our facilities to accommodate them as of now.
所以说，让我们有点时间，我会呼吁我们现在的，无论是我们的华侨也好，有时候来自中国的朋友也好，我们的企业家，大家共同来建造我们这个家园，我们来开发这菲律宾这些美好的海岛。让我们的中国的公民包括全世界的人都能够来到我们这个美丽和漂亮的海岛。
So he would like to encourage and invite everyone not just the local Chinese businessmen, but also investors from other countries to invest here in the Philippines and help improve the natural resources, the tourist destinations and resorts to make the Philippines a world-class tourist destination.
所以这个任务，我相信今天我们很幸运，刚好我们的这个准大使他还没上任以前，那能够在他去以前就能够把这个任务做下来，相信对我们两个是非常大的帮忙。
So we're very lucky today to have this dialogue with the ambassador before he is officially appointed and share these insights with him and ask for his help and assistance.
所以我们现在不要去考虑说对等的问题，只要我们把大门打开，我相信中国政府他们也会考虑让我们的菲律宾的公民都能够到中国去20年前。
So he is suggesting that maybe we can first set aside this equality problem of visa-free mutuality issue, and maybe first open our doors to Chinese tourists, and in the end, China will also see our efforts and also do the same for us, and maybe grant us visa-free access to China as well.
所以因为时间的关系，我也不想再说太多。那让我们用热烈掌声来让我们这个准大使，让他就是为我们大家做这个事情。
Thank you very much, Mr. Techico, for your good